Not too low, still drivable, but low enough that it looks badass. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the vlog, and welcome to the garage. Today, part 2 of lowering my 1971 C10. We did the springs in the last video. I'll put links above. Hope you guys are enjoying and following along with this build series. I know I'm having a lot of fun and truly enjoying this experience of building one of my dream trucks. So without further ado, let's get into lowering the front of the truck. Now, for those who are new to the channel, we have 2-inch drop springs already in place on the truck. The original owner did that. So it's hard to see as those lights are brutal. They're burning out one bulb at a time. But the original owner put 2-inch drop springs in the front, 4-inch drop springs in the rear. We switched those to 6-inch drop springs. We're keeping the 2-inch drop springs, but we're changing out this rotor to a 6-bolt rotor, and we're changing the drop spindle, or we're changing the OEM spindle to a drop spindle. This should make the truck sit exactly how I want it, and I'm super excited to get these installed. Now, this is something that I have never done before, so it's probably going to take me a little bit longer than a normal mechanic or someone who knows what they're doing, but I'm going to take my time, bring you guys along, and I have faith we can get these changed. So let's get set up. I'm going to take that fender off so we don't scratch the new paint. Yeah, we still got to do that, but we'll take the fender off and it'll make it easier for me to see and show you guys what's going on how to change your drop spindles in your 67 to 72 C10. And I think this applies to other years as well, but I'm not too sure. But here we go. I just quickly sprayed these drop spindles, just did them in black. That way they will hopefully stay looking a little better than turning into rust. I'm not sure what we're going to need for tools, but first we need to get this caliper off, then take off this dust cap. Under here there is a cotter pin and a nut. We need to back that off. That will take the rotor off, take the caliper off. Then there will be a few bolts holding on this dust shield. Get that taken off, and then we will be able to see the spindle so we can see what we need to remove. I am supporting the spring with a jack. We need to take off the upper and lower ball joints as well as the steering arm, but should be fairly straightforward. Just got to remove the cotter pins, undo the bolt a bit, and hopefully, because these were installed fairly recently, hopefully they're not too much of a pain to remove and replace. Fingers crossed for us anyway. Caliper removed, caliper tied up. Don't let it hang by the cord. That's bad for it. I can't believe this. Part of me thinks maybe it's time we need to really go through this truck a lot better, because I just popped off the dust cap. There's not even a cotter pin installed in this bolt. This truck is just full of pleasant treasures. Clearly, the guy just didn't know what he was doing. He rushed to throw it all back together to sell me the truck, or sell the truck, but to me, because like rear springs not installed properly, missing cotter pins. Like, this rotor could have just backed off and who knows what would happen. But at least we're addressing it, and I know that everything that I'm touching will be safe moving forward, because I don't want my kids rolling around in a death trap. So let's get this rotor off. Thank goodness I found this when I did, and here we go. This is very simple. Just pull the nut and the rotor pulls off. There is a bearing on the inside in here, and there is also a bearing on the inside of the rotor that is held on with an actual seal. I ordered all new bearings and seals for the 6-bolt rotors. They should be here today. Fingers crossed that I can get to the point where the new drop spindles are in, and then once the hardware for the new rotor comes in, we can slap everything back together and install this correctly. So here you go. It's a bearing packed with grease on the inside. We have a new seal with the bearing on the inside. Now, we could reuse this seal and bearings for the new hub, but my thoughts are if we just put the bearing back in, we'll put it in the bag, we'll seal it up, and then if we ever need to go back to a 5-bolt, we can just pop it off, put the new one on. It's got the bearings and the seal already installed, just makes life a lot easier, and then the new stuff will stay with the 6-bolt one. Hopefully that all makes sense, but I think that's probably just the easiest way. That was my thought. I mean, the bearings and seal wasn't very expensive. I think it was 40 bucks for all of them that I needed. And yeah, so let's get this grease cleaned up. We'll get this rotor bagged, and then we can start removing this spindle. Upper nut, tie rod nut, 19 millimeters. The big nut, 24 millimeters. Very simple. Pretty quick and easy to take out. So let's get some grease and start putting in the new spindle. Just went to Canadian Tire to get some new grease, and the bearings and seals showed up. Absolutely perfect timing. So let's pack these bearings, and we will then be able to get these rotors put back on. Before I pack the bearings, I just wanted to make sure that we cotter pinned the nuts. So now they're all in safety. Now we can get the heat shield put on and pack the bearings. Before we go ahead and pack these bearings, we should probably make sure these are the right ones. They do send new races. They always do when you order new bearings, but because these rotors are new, the races are already new, so we don't have to change those, which saves us some time. Now, just gonna make sure the seal is right. That looks right. So once we get these all packed, we can tap these seals into place. We should be golden. So to pack a bearing, just you want to grab it like this, and then you're gonna push the grease from your palm up into the chamber until you can see the grease coming out the backside. See, you can see it coming through the backside of the bearing. And we're just going to keep spinning it so that we get all that grease packed up in there. There we go. Two down, two more to go. Now to put the seal in, you basically just set it in place, and then you're going to want to tap it in, going all around in circular motions. All the way till it's completely seated inside this rotor. Now we can load the front bearing and go put this rotor on the new spindle and tighten her down. It's also a good idea to use some brake clean and clean the surfaces of the rotor just from the shipping oil and any other grease from your hand and the bearings, because you don't want the grease and all that grime getting on your brake pads, because then, well, no stopping, and then that would be bad. So you put your bearing in, put your keyway washer, it'll only go on one way, then your nut, and you need to preload this nut because you don't want this rotor too tight. If it's too tight, it's going to cook these bearings, and you're going to be changing this in no time. Let's get this tightened down to the right specifications. Then we can get a cotter pin and make sure it's all in safety. Get the truck back down on its feet and see what the new stance looks like. I am extremely excited to see how the truck sits after this. Nut has been put on and cotter pin nice and safe. So now you can work on getting the brake pads and caliper put back on, and that's essentially it, and we're done. So keep watching, and I'll show you guys very, very soon what the new stance on the truck looks like. And the wheels on the front should fit much better, so fingers crossed. But let's get this back together, and then we'll get the truck on the ground, and I'll show you guys the final result. Rotor's back on, dust cap's back on, caliper's on, all tightened down, cleaned up. Let's get the wheels on and see what the truck looks like now. Man, does that ever look good. I think we may be able to run like a 1-inch spacer. Just to bump the tire out just a little bit. And the back, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, buddy. What do you guys think? I think the 6.4 drop is absolutely perfect. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get this truck back together now. Not too low, still drivable, but low enough that it looks badass. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. I think in total, I started at 9 o'clock this morning. It's now 3 o'clock. It took me, I don't know, 6 hours to swap out the front spindles and rotors, repack the bearings. If you weren't changing the rotors and you were just swapping spindles, you probably could cut that time in half, but because we swapped, it's about 6 hours. But that was filming, going Canadian Tire, stopping here and there. So overall, very, very successful day. Banana beat. Now it's time to head outside and get some R&R and just relax, because that was quite the process for 2 days. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Please like, comment, subscribe. Peace.